Tonight, officers on desk duty as top police launch an investigation into the violent arrest of an Aboriginal man. Also, midnight opening, South Australia relaxes its borders, what it means for the Crows and power. Welfare checks to be ramped up as authorities move swiftly in the wake of Anne Smith's tragic death. Upside down in rushing water, how a 70-year-old woman escaped this crash. And race disgrace, disturbing new revelations from AFL star Eddie Betts.
Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Jane Doyle.
Good evening. The actions of two police officers involved in the violent arrest of an Indigenous man at Kilburn are now the subject of an internal investigation. Confronting videos emerged of the moment the 28-year-old was repeatedly punched while pinned to the ground.
In a Kilburn side street, tempers flare. As police pin Noel Henry to the ground, his friends filming and furious.
What's wrong with you?
But it's what happens next that sets them off. One of the officers is caught on camera punching the 28-year-old, landing at least 3 blows.
They were punching into him. I don't know, but they had him and they started punching into him.
I was quite shocked that it would actually escalate to that.
Mr. Henry was taken into custody and charged with resisting arrest and property damage. This morning, supporters arrived at the Port Adelaide police station, demanding he be released and the 2 arresting officers investigated.
This is the thing we are dealing with every day in the system with the justice system, and it needs to stop.
Within hours,
the officers concerned have been placed onto administrative duties whilst we conduct this inquiry.
An internal investigation into claims of excessive force.
They're accountable for their decision making and the basis upon which they act.
Don't preempt, don't prejudge, wait for the facts, wait for the investigation.
Exactly what led up to the incident will form a key part of the inquiry. Police say they were responding to a domestic violence incident when they spotted Mr. Henry leaving on a bike. For some reason, they suspected he was carrying drugs and say when they tried to arrest him, he struggled. The Police Commissioner says he's taking the internal investigation very seriously, appointing a senior officer to oversee it. He admits the Black Lives Matter movement has turned the spotlight on officers everywhere.
I think it's reasonable to assume that police officers would be highly vigilant in relation to their conduct and interaction with members of the Indigenous community.
Late this morning, Noel Henry was released without charge. Tim Yateman, 7 News.
South Australia's throwing open some of its borders from midnight as the easing of restrictions is yet again fast-tracked. Visitors will be able to come from the West, the Northern Territory and Tasmania without having to self-isolate for 14 days.
It's welcome relief for anyone wanting to visit from Western Australia, the Northern Territory or Tasmania. An early end to these border restrictions has been brewing for days, but only got the nod after a recommendation from the state's Health Transition Committee.
What we are effectively doing is removing the border on our side.
Those 3 regions all have impressive COVID-19 records, just like us. So the Premier says, come on down.
People who are returning from those jurisdictions or coming in from those jurisdictions will not be required to do the 14 days of self-isolation.
So it opens the door for a July school holiday influx, but there's a catch. Two-way traffic requires others to reciprocate, and that's not happening yet.
This is all about protecting West Australians from the virus coming in. In terms of picking and choosing between the states, as I've said many times, the advice we have is that is unconstitutional.
Tasmania says it won't be rushed into a decision, with June 26 still its D-Day just to make a decision. There are no direct flights anyway, and you can't come here via another state. The NT's still worried about recent protests here, potentially spreading the virus, so it's also holding off. New South Wales and especially Victoria's borders are still on a July 20 timeframe.
With footy hubs and the pressure on players' families also under the spotlight, a Queensland opening could be coming, perhaps within days.
The expectation would be that we lift the borders on the set days or in advance of, if the clinical situation is such that we can.
Mike Smithson, 7 News.
And Mike joins us live from the airport. It's going to be some happy landings at last, Mike.
Yes, Jane, it seems like a long time since there was any obvious activity in this vast space, but it's still going to be a slow process until other states also make us welcome. Qantas says it won't be resuming all flights between here and any locations until the restrictions are lifted elsewhere, so that means we're still in the hands of other states. But the Flying Kangaroo says by next month it hopes to be back to 40% operations. And it'll be interesting to see if anyone grabs the new opportunity to visit Adelaide from midnight tonight. There's a Rex flight from the Alice. That's due in tomorrow afternoon. So after that, a Virgin flight's due from Perth. And there's no doubting that South Australia has taken this move for a reason. We want to show other states that we are open for business, but we're not out of the woods yet. So there will be no safety let up. Jane.
Thanks, Mike. Let's go to Theo Doropoulos at Adelaide Oval. And Theo, it could be a major win for the Crows and Power.
It's certainly shaping that way, Jane. Now, today's announcement could blow the AFL's Queensland hub plan wide open. Now, the Power jets off on Friday, the Crows on Saturday to start what's meant to be a 3-week stint on the Gold Coast. But late today, the AFL confirmed that if the South Australian and Queensland governments agree, players would be able to fly home in between matches. In other words, they're not obliged to stay in the resorts initially designed to ensure their safety. Now, the benefits of that are huge. They'd sleep in their own beds, they'd train here in the first-class facilities at their clubs, plus, of course, they'd be home with their families. But the AFL says no matter how it falls, both clubs will play at least their next 3 matches in Queensland. So with the South Australian government flagging it is ready to do a deal, it's now up to Queensland to come to the party. Jane.
Thanks, Theo. Fitness fanatics are also big winners today, with authorities relaxing strict rules around indoor training sessions. Large gyms are jumping for joy, but some smaller studios say they've been hamstrung by the changes.
Bowing to industry demand. Authorities have relaxed the strict rules on group fitness sessions, raising limits from 10 to 20, but there's a catch.
If they can provide an area of 1 person per 7 square metres.
Larger venues are dancing with joy. This 144 square metre dance studio at Theberton will just be able to fit the 20 people.
Well, I think it's great for us. It'll be so much easier.
But it's left smaller operators such as Corpor Motors Pilates in an awkward position.
Oh, not good. Seems like it's backwards.
The 7 square metre rule means the Unleigh studio is no better off, or possibly even in a worse position.
Absolutely, yeah. So whilst this space might look big here, if the minute we go over 10, we're done almost. You gain in one way, but you completely lose it in the other.
Another announcement from the Premier today, public gatherings can have 300 people from Friday. That means we can now enjoy things like festivals, big outdoor markets, even a concert here in Elder Park, but perhaps once the weather gets a little bit better than this.
Especially when it's wet and miserable and windy and raining.
I'm pretty pumped, to be honest. Yeah, I'm missing gigs and festivals and stuff.
It's great. Need a party, I reckon.
Elspeth Hussey, 7 News.
After declaring itself virus-free, New Zealand has 2 new COVID cases who'd both been on a flight through Australia. The Kiwi women arrived from the UK via Brisbane on an Air New Zealand flight. They went into hotel isolation in Auckland, but were granted an exemption to drive to a family funeral in Wellington without being tested.
Public health staff have also been in contact with their counterparts in Australia, so they can take appropriate action for any passengers who were on the same flight that the women took out of the UK via Doha and into Brisbane.
It puts an end to the country's 24-day streak of no virus cases. The state governments vowed to back all the recommendations of an interim report sparked by the abhorrent death of disabled woman Anne-Marie Smith. The task force is calling for urgent action, saying the lives of more South Australians are on the line.
Choking back tears, the Human Services Minister thanked the task force for identifying gaping problems in her portfolio.
It's a very emotional issue for lots of people, and I understand it has been.
few members of the task force.
The tragic death in April of 54-year-old Anne-Marie Smith, who suffered septic shock and multiple organ failure, sparked the report.
It just beggars belief that someone has lived with septic pressure sores for up to a year and this has not been addressed.
But the task force was told to look for system failures. It outlined 12 safeguarding gaps and made 5 recommendations, including taking the federal government to task over the number of health checks for clients, that there be better information sharing in screening carers, and reaffirming the value of the community visitor scheme.
People's lives literally depend on us getting this right.
The opposition says the recommendations don't go far enough and is calling for more detail when the full report's handed down next month. But as the task force delivers its initial findings and a major crime investigation into Ms Smith's death continues, the provider responsible for her care is still yet to be shut down. Today, Integrity Care once again refused to take questions when approached by 7 News. Are you planning to pack up? Do you think that you will be shut down?
No comment.
The ministers refused to weigh in while it's under investigation. Andrea Nicholas, 7 News.
A 4th person's been charged over a terrifying gunpoint kidnapping in the northern suburbs. Police say the 26-year-old Clearview man was involved in the violent incident in which a woman was bashed, then tied up and forced into the boot of a car. There were wild scenes yesterday as 3 other suspects faced court, the victims recovering from a fractured eye socket. After a big slump yesterday, the Australian share market has shot back up in a positive sign for investors and super funds. Network finance editor Gemma Acton explained what caused this turnaround.
Well, Jane, a lot of it's down to developments in the US. Today's big news was President Donald Trump reportedly planning a new infrastructure package worth around 1.4 trillion Australian dollars. So after 3 days of heavy losses, the ASX 200 today up by 3.89%, adding around $68.2 billion in its best day since early April. Among today's big winners were buy now, pay later companies, including Afterpay and Zip, both around 10% higher, and OpenPay up nearly 30%. And after slipping last week, consumer confidence is once again back on the right track. It's now risen in 10 out of the last 11 weeks. Today's market gains only adding to that overall confidence.
Law enforcement agencies from around the world, including the FBI and SA Police, have helped New South Wales smash open an international drug operation. After 7 years of investigations, officers finally swooped.
Accused drug smuggler Mario Lang didn't put up a fight. At 7 this morning, the 57-year-old was arrested at his Baulkham Hills home for his alleged role in a global drug syndicate.
That consisting of MDMA and methamphetamines.
His co-accused business partner, 36-year-old Frank Faruga, also taken in, picked up at the Sofitel in Darling Harbour. While police from multiple agencies, including the FBI, raided his worksite at Badgerys Creek, seizing documents allegedly related to drugs and money laundering. A third man, 34-year-old Dennis Canmaz, arrested at Muswellbrook.
We will allege that this syndicate imported approximately 3 tonne of illicit drugs with a street value of about $150 million.
This was a global effort, with a total of 14 agencies assisting New South Wales Police, including Germany's Customs Office in Hamburg, the Netherlands' National Investigation Department, and the Spanish Police. Today, the 7-year investigation came to an end. The alleged ringleaders of this syndicate fled to Dubai a couple of years ago. Authorities here recently received a tip-off that the 2 men were about to skip to another country, forcing police to bring forward their investigation by 3 months. The 3 men arrested today faced court as police continue to work with authorities in Dubai to extradite the trio's alleged bosses. Natasha Squarey, 7 News.
A burst water main on Payneham Road's expected to cause traffic headaches for motorists until tomorrow morning. The gusher erupted just before midday.
We were concerned that there were businesses that might have been impacted, but luckily the stormwater drains are handling the excess flow.
Lane closures are in place for city-bound traffic, but not every driver has been paying attention. In worrying new developments for the AFL, former Crows star Eddie Betts has revealed he's been racially abused every year of his footy career. Olympic gold medalist and former Senator Nova Peris says it's further proof not enough is being done to stamp it out.
Eddie Betts has called out plenty of racist attacks, the most recent, this one last week. But we've learned the regularity is worse than most thought.
He said to me yesterday there hasn't been a year in his career where he hasn't had some sort of vilification thrown at him.
That's almost 16 years. Olympic gold medalist Nova Peris says it shouldn't always be up to the victim to call out trolls.
People say things and they don't realise it's wrong until we call you out. And if we don't call people out, and it shouldn't be us to be calling people out, everyone should be.
Nova Peris says the AFL should have retaliated harder to the latest racist attack.
What should have followed was we stand with Eddie Betts, and if this person is a member of an AFL club, we are going to tear your membership up, like Fremantle did. What Fremantle did was brilliant. It sends a strong message that we aren't going to tolerate this sort of anymore.
The AFL says it recognises racism causes great harm and trauma and is not a minor matter. The person behind the latest racist tweet is believed to be an Essendon fan. The club and the league are still investigating. AFL boss Gil McLachlan says players taking a knee before the weekend's matches demonstrates racism has no place in football or our community. Blake Johnson, 7 News.
Donald Trump is tonight finalising a plan to reform his nation's police. The US president labelled the latest police killing disturbing as the victim's family called for justice and change.
The familiar war cry of a protest now spilling into its fourth week. A movement mourning another name.
We want to keep his name positive and great.
Rayshard Brooks, a black man fatally shot by a white officer after a struggle over a taser.
We are angry. When does this stop?
The 27-year-old's family today demanding action through tears.
The trust that we have with the police force is broken.
To attempt to repair that trust, the president is preparing an executive order on policing.
I thought it was a terrible situation. I studied it closely.
Focusing on reform, accountability and creating a national standard for the use of force.
We will do better, even better, and we're going to try and do it fast.
As thousands of people continue to take to the streets, Donald Trump is preparing to address thousands of others in a very different setting, eyeing a return to his favourite stage, a campaign rally this weekend, the first since the COVID-19 crisis. The president claims he's had 1 million ticket requests for the indoor event.
We expect to have, it's like a record-setting crowd. We've never had an empty seat.
Raising concerns, he's prioritising politics over the pandemic. In the United States, Amelia Brace, 7 News.
It looked like the Boxing Day sales were underway in London, but people were just queuing for their first chance at retail therapy in 3 months. Tourists were absent, but flights have resumed to some locations to get tills ringing again as lockdown eases.
Social distancing is the slogan. But outside Nike, shoppers just didn't do it. After 85 days, the desire for a retail fix eclipsed virus fears with queues across the country.
Back in the real world.
But still a far cry from what Europe's busiest shopping strip used to look like.
I think for the first few weeks and months, we only expect around 15 or 20% of footfall because we haven't got the international tourists here.
Harrods relies on them, the famous luxury department store reopening after its first closure in 170 years. Clothes can be tried on, but anything not purchased is quarantined for 72 hours.
Even the layout of Oxford Street has had to change. These barriers extend the footpath to ensure people can stay 2 metres apart. But in many settings, that's not possible. So for now, hair and beauty salons, restaurants and pubs are still closed.
While on the continent, borders are opening.
It's nice to be the first person off the plane and the first person out the door.
Not everyone is free to travel everywhere. In a trial, Spain has allowed thousands of German holidaymakers into the country without a 14-day quarantine to see how its popular tourist islands fare in a bid to salvage summer. In London, Sarah Greenhalgh, 7 News.
Time to check in with Soda on what's coming up in sport.
Well, Jane, after showdown the weekend, the line has already been ruled through Ryan Burton, so he's going to miss out on playing because of an injury concern. He'd been struggling with that and he's undergone a clean-out, so he's going to miss a little bit of footy. And while horse racing has continued the past few months during the corona restrictions, fans have been shut out of the tracks, of course, but that's all about to change here in SA, which is some good news too. All that and plenty more coming up.
Giddy up, as they say.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Soda. Well, ahead on 7 News, cold, dark and wet. A 70-year-old woman's remarkable creek crash escape. Also, German investigators deliver a sad message to Maddie McCann's parents. Later, the search for Migaloo, the famous white whale spotted heading north. And Home Alone hounds, how to keep your pets from fretting while you go out again.
7 News, brought to you by Industry Superfunds.
I suddenly realised we're all in this together.
That feels especially true, given what's going on. It is good to know that our super will help us and our economy bounce back. And if you're with one of these, your super is invested in things that create jobs and keep Aussie businesses strong, delivering good long-term returns that benefit all of us. After all,
we're all in this together.
It's coming! No matter where you are.
Quick, Sophie!
Whatever you do.
Don't drop the ball.
Because it could be the end of you.
Tonight, friendships unravel.
I cannot wait for things to come crashing down.
You won't be waiting long.
Big Brother unveils his first huge twist.
Let's play.
All new Big Brother, tonight, 7:30 on 7.
Let's talk about health insurance and how you could be paying for things you don't need. Comparing might even save you money. Okay, I'll do it for you. Take the out of saving. Now's the time to compare, select and save with iSelect on 13, 19, 20.
Coming up next, energy prices.
No! It's LDV for me.
It's LDV for me.
More and more people are saying it's LDV for me because the LDV T60 4x4 diesel is from just $27,490 drive away. And eligible businesses may be able to claim the government instant asset write-off. Hurry, offer ends June 30.
One look at South Australia's CTP choices shows that SGIC wears the state colours on their sleeve. The wonders of data, eh? Choose SGIC, helping South Australians since 1972.
At HCF, Australia's largest not-for-profit health fund, we know the importance of care when it counts. That's why eligible members can now access a wider range of treatment options in the comfort of your own home. HCF, that's uncommon care.
Forget about your worries and your strain.
It's time to relax.
I nap a lot.
Chill out and let your hair down.
Let down your...
There's a bit of Disney Plus in all of us.
This is Sunny. Sunny is a volunteer maths tutor. With inspiring people like Sunny, Origin has supported over 62,000 students through its foundation and education programs. Origin, powered by good energy.
Let's compare health insurance. You might even save some money. Okay, I'll do it. Take the out of saving. Now's the time to compare, select and save with iSelect.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
An elderly woman's made a desperate escape after her car plunged into a fast-moving creek in the Adelaide Hills overnight. Stuck upside down in the vehicle, she suddenly found herself in a race against time to get out before it filled with water.
It's the stuff of nightmares.
It's crazy.
But overnight, it became the frightening reality for the 70-year-old driver of this Mercedes, stuck inside her overturned car in the middle of a fast-flowing creek.
Oh, it would have been freezing. Poor little lady, and she would have got wet. I don't know how she got out of that, actually. So she's lucky.
Police say sometime overnight she was driving along Aldgate Valley Road when her car slid through the barrier, plunging several metres into the creek below. With water gushing into the car and no one around to help, it was do or die. She eventually managed to crawl free before climbing the muddy bank to safety. Freezing cold, she walked less than 50 metres to her home and raised the alarm.
It's very cold here, yes, and the creek is flushing, like running so hard, so I'm surprised she got out. Yeah, being 70, my goodness.
As for the car, it's insured, but pulling it from the creek won't be easy. The Mercedes will spend another night here needing a crane to winch it out. The woman escaped with minor injuries and a remarkable story to tell. Lauren Rose, 7 News.
A fire at Christie Downs Housing Trust home is under investigation tonight. MFS crews were called to Edith Court just after 3 this afternoon to find the duplex well alight. Firefighters had to break in. It's understood the 2 occupants had left an hour before. The damage bill is around $150,000, but crews managed to save the neighbouring home. German police have reportedly declared missing toddler Madeleine McCann dead. They informed her parents via letter that she was murdered, but won't reveal how they know. The officer leading the investigation into suspect Christian Bruckner says he won't put all his cards on the table, worried it would jeopardise the case. Bruckner is in a German jail for drug dealing and was convicted of a 2005 rape in the area where Madeleine disappeared. In a landmark ruling, America's Supreme Court has backed protection for gay and transgender workers. The majority decision said laws prohibiting discrimination based on sex should be understood to include sexual orientation and gender identity. 2 conservative justices voted in favour, including a Trump appointee who wrote the ruling. Well, there's a warning for drivers in the hills, and after that earlier story, you can understand why. With more fog forecast overnight, Amelia, we could see it in the city as well in the morning.
Jane, we could. We're expecting fog across much of the state in the morning. Currently, we've got plenty of low cloud about at the moment, which is a little different. It's over the hills tonight, and that's reducing visibility on the roads, especially during showers. So drivers are asked to take extra care. Now, as skies clear overnight, we've got perfect conditions for fog to form. It could extend from the hills across the metro area, at the very least impacting our northern suburbs, but we could see it elsewhere as well. There's just that much moisture in the atmosphere after more showers across the city today. At the moment, humidity is around 95% outside. It's been like that for most of the day as well. Now, the good news is that clearing skies should lead to a bit of sunshine tomorrow, and Thursday's looking even better. Of course, I'll have more on that in the forecast a little later. Jane.
Thanks, Amelia. Still to come on 7 News. Pulling out the stops, demands for the state government to come clean on bus plans. Later, a new fee-free mobile data plan. We pore over the fine details for you. An urgent recall of a popular brand of pasta sauce, what retailers advise you to do. And how to deal with anxious pets, now they're in lockdown as we return to work.
So what triggers this guy?
Or who? Everything they've ever learned.
Where else do you go?
Everything they've ever done.
Who else do you hurt?
Has all been leading to this.
Us. They come after us.
The killer final season of Criminal Minds. Tonight after Big Brother.
Hey guys, Dan and Steph back again. Thank you very much to Cole. So tonight, we're going to do a great dish for you. It's one of my favourite dishes that Steph cooks for me. It is the smoky bacon meatballs. Absolutely delicious and under $5 per serve. So under 20 bucks, feed a family of 4.
We've actually bought the bulk pack of the Coles mince. And the best thing about this one, it's cheaper to buy it in bulk, but we're going to use half of this for our meatballs and use the other half for another meal later in the week. So our first step is we need to process some bacon, onion, garlic and some oregano. And what we're going to do now is fry this off in a fry pan. So we've got the bacon onion mix all fried off, and what we're going to do is take half of that out of the frying pan, and that's going to be a part of our meatball mixture with the beef mince. The extra half that's still in the pan, what we're going to do is get our sauce happening. 2 tins of tomatoes, tomato paste, and we've got some reduced chicken stock as well. We have some fresh thyme sprigs. What really makes this sauce is a drizzle of balsamic, and what we're going to do is we'll cook that down now.
So let's get on with these meatballs.
So what we have is the half of the onion bacon mix cooled down, and we're going to use half of the beef mince that we bought in bulk. So that's just going to go straight into the bowl. Combine these, we're going to add 2 eggs also. Do you mind putting some seasoning in there? And what we need to do is squeeze that all together. We're going to roll some meatballs. And what we like to do is make them about the golf ball size. The next step is to adding them straight into our yummy sauce, which is over on the stove. Definitely need some salt, pepper, and a little smidge of sugar to balance it out. And it's time now for the meatballs. Straight into the sauce. What we need to do is cover it with mozzarella cheese. Now they go in the oven to be baked for about 20 minutes until they're nice and golden on top. In the meantime, we need to cook our pastas. Simple boiling water.
Let's see if the pasta's cooked. It's cooked. Amazing.
The next thing we need to do now, let them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes.
So there you have it, guys, our smoky baked meatballs. Very delicious, but also great value for money at under $5 per serve using great Australian beef mince.
Get out there, it's a winter warmer, and we hope you love it.
Still those mindless hoons throw the papers. We have had cases before where that stuff is caught on fire.
Pete, it's littering at best, Pete. You've gone overboard. There's no chance that a fire could start, Peter Landy.
That's just what I said. It can be very, very dangerous.
Never wrong.
The Front Bar, Wednesday on 7.
Pressure's mounting on the state government to reveal all 500 bus stops being axed. Labor claims this shelter on Galway Avenue at Broadview was only installed a month ago and is now for the chop. It claims the concerns of local residents are being ignored.
Now it's just a total and utter waste of time and money to have it here. To have this bus route cancelled is affecting so many people.
But the government says it's listening during 6 weeks of public consultation. The Prime Minister has promised to restore the jobs lost during the pandemic as new figures show the extent of damage across sectors. Women have been hardest hit, losing hundreds of thousands of jobs, but a pickup in May could signal the employment tide is turning.
It's being called a pink recession.
Women have been the hardest hit through COVID-19.
Out of work at a greater rate than men.
325,000 women have lost their jobs.
Members on my left.
I think that's terrible news. That's, really harsh.
I feel like it's not equal.
Most in the hardest hit industries.
Hospitality, tourism and retail.
But as those sectors slowly reopen, women are now regaining their jobs at a faster rate, a 1.4% increase in May, men just 0.4%.
We will be working to restore those jobs, Mr Speaker, that have been lost.
Though conceding some will lose their jobs when the JobKeeper wage subsidies withdrawn in September.
How many jobs is he planning to sacrifice to his snapback?
If the Leader of the Opposition wants to sell the Australian people that in a recession there is no hardship, then he is a fool.
And tough new mandatory sentencing laws for child sex offences have passed with bipartisan support, despite some very partisan clashes, including this attack on Labor from WA Liberal Vince Connolly.
These people have stood up for pedophiles over our Aussie kids and should be deeply ashamed.
The member will withdraw. He was forced to withdraw as Peter Dutton took over.
You opposed it. You opposed it.
Labor did try to amend the bill to remove mandatory sentences, but when that was lost, supported all, including the mandatory measures.
Labor supported this bill.
Practically united, politically divided. Mark Riley, 7 News.
An urgent recall's been announced for a Legos brand sauce. A batch of the 500-gram tuna bake with spinach and garlic has the potential to become contaminated. It only affects the product with a best before date of the 1st of May 2022 with a batch code of 12164. It should be returned to retailers for a refund. Pets have enjoyed the lockdown more than most, getting to spend so much time with their families. The RSPCA is worried many dogs will suffer anxiety if they're suddenly left home alone as their owners head back to work.
4-year-old Alfie doesn't like to be alone.
We were told that he has separation anxiety. He has anxiety around other dogs.
Pat and Kate Maiden adopted the pug beagle Cross at the start of lockdown.
I just kind of fell in love with him when I saw that he was still at the RSPCA after quite a few months. Yes.
Thousands of dogs like Alfie have been adopted during the pandemic. The RSPCA is worried about what happens when owners head back to the office.
I think the first thing would be to be really patient and understanding and see things from your animal's point of view.
We know that he needs to be stimulated, so we leave him things to do.
Owners should gradually introduce changes so pets aren't confused when they're left alone. It's important to create a routine. Walk the dog in the morning, leave them alone at times during the day. Don't leave all the toys out. Rotate them to increase the novelty factor and find creative ways to feed your pet. As more Australians return to work, the RSPCA is wary of a spike in owners deciding they don't want a pet anymore. They're pleading with people to take adoption seriously.
We've seen a few animals coming in the last couple of weeks that have been brought in because of financial hardship.
The Maidens say Alfie is here to stay.
It's so nice having him around, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Tom Chadwick, 7 News.
Still to come on 7 News, a weighty issue, the science behind why so many people gain weight in isolation. On the lookout for Migaloo the white whale, spotted heading for the Gold Coast. And another delay, the Oscars postponed for only the 4th time in history. For your official local source of COVID-19 information and the range of support services available, go to sa.gov.au.
Heidi, nobody can understand you with that accent.
Welcome to your new family.
I couldn't think. I wanted to get up and dance.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Does your mother know you do this?
New America's Got Talent, Wednesday on 7.
The rear-wheel drive Kia Stinger. It took 7 years to create and 4.9 seconds to understand why.
No, to tell you the truth, when I started out, I could hardly even swim.
The guy in the hardware store just burst out laughing.
I had to stay below deck. I was so seasick.
So my mum was like, there's no way you're playing football.
Back when I started, I was just trying to grow one plant.
Life doesn't always turn out as we imagine. Australia, you have our support. Find out more at nab.com.au. NAB, more than money.
Metropolitan for plumbing. Metropolitan for electrical. Metropolitan for air conditioning. Plumbing, electrical, air conditioning. Same prices for after hours. Metropolitan Plumbing, Electrical and Air Conditioning.
You know, now that we're engaged, I control her spending. But it's only because...
He looks through my phone every now and then. But it's only because...
There's no excuse for abuse.
Great Wall end of financial year value is now on. Get a brand new petrol dual cab or diesel single cab with a free trade and a 5-year warranty from only $19,990. That's right, from just $19,990 drive away. Great Wall, it's built to work.
When you insure your home, car or travel through People's Choice, you can feel confident knowing that luck doesn't matter when you have good insurance. Call 13 11 82 or visit a branch.
Oh baby, baby, feed me. Baby, feed me. Oh, feed me.
Dime, powerless to resist.
Why don't you come? Why don't you come? The pleasure's all mine, never getting old. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing in my own way.
A CSIRO study has revealed just how drastic COVID-19 restrictions have been on our well-being. For many, weight gain has been a big issue, but not for one Brisbane man on a mission to lose 100 kilos.
2 years ago, Terry Munro looked like this at 185 kilograms. Today, he's hardly recognisable, fitting into one leg of his old pants.
There we go, that's how much space I've got. Look at that.
When COVID hit, he was nearing the end of his goal to lose 100 kilos. Instead of lapsing, he took the restrictions in his stride.
In that time I was able to focus on my health. I've now discovered a new love of cooking.
But Terry's pandemic success story is rare. A CSIRO study shows many of us adopted bad habits during lockdown. 40% of people felt like they gained weight, despite around half eating less junk food and more home-cooked meals.
Because they were at home for an unprecedented amount of time and they were close to their fridge and their pantry, but they also had more free time.
Nearly 80% of people said their social connections suffered. Exercise and mental well-being also took a dive.
Worrying was a big lockdown habit. Some of our biggest concerns included the prospect of infecting a friend, economic recession, and how long it would take for things to return to normal.
The advice to get back on track?
Be kind to yourself. Don't be afraid to take stock of where you are so you can set some goals to go forward.
And reconnect with mates. Tristan Boreas, 7 News.
Well, we may have to wait to head to the Gold Coast, but there's one visitor en route creating huge anticipation. The famous white whale Migaloo is said to be on its way, bringing a tourism boost the city desperately needs.
Off the Gold Coast Seaway this morning, no sign of Migaloo, but no complaints. 3 pods of humpbacks wowed fans, making up for lost time after a slow start to the whale watch season.
And then straight away, whales breaching, all zip, zop, zooping straight in the air and splashing. It was amazing, gorgeous.
With social distancing rules in place, Whales in Paradise has doubled the number of tours to spread passengers out, with demand about to surge as word spreads a certain white whale may not be far away.
It could be the big guy, but we've not actually been able to confirm that it is just yet.
The sighting was made yesterday off the New South Wales south coast, but could also have been this white whale or this juvenile first spotted in July last year.
We do see white animals popping up from time to time, but we very rarely ever see them make it to full maturity.
The original all-white whale is thought to be 32. While Migaloo does steal the show wherever he goes, there are now an estimated 40,000 humpbacks heading north, and they'll make their return in time for interstate visitors.
I highly recommend it.
I think we've just been through so much with COVID-19 and now we're seeing these beautiful creatures in the wild. It took our breath away.
They usually travel around 15 k's an hour, so if the sighting was correct, Migaloo could pass the Gold Coast as early as tomorrow night. Amanda Abate, 7 News.
It's a mobile plan promising to cut your bill down to zero. But what's the catch? The conditions attached to Zero Mobile's new offer, and are they right for you? Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. For just the 4th time in history, the Oscars will be pushed back. Hollywood's big night has been delayed previously for flooding, the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and the attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan. This time, it's coronavirus. The Academy says the move from February to April gives filmmakers the time to complete and release their films. Well, it's time for sport now, and the Crows are desperately hoping Rory Sloane will be fit to play this weekend.
Yeah, Jane, got that nasty knock, that corky on Saturday night, and he was struggling a little bit yesterday, but look, it could be a bit touch and go for him because he's certainly in a fair bit of trouble. Also coming up, a power defender out of action for the next month following knee surgery. Ricky Ponting's call to arms as Cricket Australia's CEO joins the scrap heap, and a boost for the racing industry as punters prepare to return to the track.
It's coming! No matter where you are,
Quick, Sophie!
whatever you do,
Don't drop the ball.
because it could be the end of you.
Tonight, friendships unravel.
I cannot wait for things to come crashing down.
You won't be waiting long.
Big Brother unveils his first huge twist.
Let's play.
All new Big Brother, tonight, 7:30 on 7.
When the road calls, here's the very best way to answer. The BMW X3 S-Drive 20i from $69,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
So why do we travel? Is it to relax?
To check out or in? Is it to get to know someone? Everyone? To seek new thrills, chase the sun, or stop you in your tracks? So whether you choose to tread the path less trodden or take in your dream destinations, they'll be there waiting for you to rediscover. In a world standing still, let's keep dreaming and planning. And when you're ready, Phil Hoffman Travel is here for you.
Hello. When Rego pops up, choose QBE for CTP for your car and say hello to a $25 e-gift card. Go to qbeforctp.com.au. Ends August 31st. Terms apply.
You're relying on our network more, so we're accelerating the rollout of Telstra 5G, giving more people and businesses access to fast download speeds in more places than ever.
Australians of all ages are choosing Light and Easy. Light and Easy can even assist those on aged care home care packages. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having healthy meals delivered, call us on 13 15 12.
Aussie Fast offer prompt, reliable and on-time delivery. From interstate line haulage to local couriers and distribution, plus a huge, secure, fully monitored warehouse. All your freight right to your door. Call 13 13 64.
Oh, how good's this?
Take out a home loan with HomeStart and you could get a starter loan. That's up to $10,000 to help with upfront fees like stamp duty.
Sweet.
Join the 75,000 South Australians HomeStart have helped get into their own home sooner.
Australia, there's no country like it. That's why all Mobil Synergy fuels were formulated to protect your engine from the first fill. Like a shield against rust corrosion and harmful deposits. Mobil Synergy fuels. Engine protection sorted.
So where should we go? I hear Roba's nice this time of year. Oh, what about the Riverland? We go to the Eyre Peninsula. Oh, what about the Flinders Ranges? Oh, we could go to KI.
Thinking about a local holiday? Talk to the travel experts at RAA and keep on moving on.
Hello again. Well, the Crows will make a late call on Rory Sloane's cork thigh ahead of Sunday's Gold Coast clash. The skipper is still sore from the showdown, but he found a different way to influence his teammates at training.
Sloane is still feeling the effects of a stray boot, but found a way to have an impact during Adelaide's hit-out. After spending time speaking with Matthew Nicks, Captain Courageous turned coach, giving instructions as he and his teammates look to move past Saturday's showdown shocker. But the issue for the Crows is, as they seek redemption, Sloane might not be on the park.
Sloane is a cork, so they can take a while to settle, but the fact that he's up and moving is once again pretty good sign for his availability come Sunday. That decision's always in consultation with the player and their history and whether they've managed that sort of thing before, so all things being equal, you'd envisage him being pretty close.
Jay Kelly was on deck for the session and he's doing okay after suffering concussion, but he'll have to pass further tests later in the week before he's considered. Saturday's loss has put the position of senior players in the spotlight.
Performance-based industry, and if you don't perform, then you put yourself under pressure. But equally, you know, as I said, you want to assess form over a period of time, and you know, a lot of those players who perhaps weren't at the level they wanted to be have been really strong contributors over a long period of time.
And not surprisingly, Gold Coast young gun Matt Rowell's been given a rising star nod after his dominant performance against West Coast in just his second AFL game.
Yeah, no, there's been a few text messages, so but it's nice getting those messages. A lot of people from back home, and it's just nice to get that recognition. The
Crows head to Queensland on Saturday. Theodoropoulos, 7 News.
Well, Port Adelaide will have at least one change to make ahead of their round 3 clash against the Dockers on Sunday. Defender Ryan Burton won't play after having minor knee surgery today.
Burton was always going to struggle to get up for round 3. The defender finished Saturday night on the bench, and a scan yesterday revealed a loose fragment which needed minor surgery. The club has ruled him out for at least the next 3 to 4 weeks. Georgiades will be available after recovering from a calf injury, while Wines looks likely to miss again as he recovers from a shoulder reconstruction. No such issue for young gun Dersma, who's managed to take his game to the next level, thanks to the coach.
And he just backs us 100%
100% right from the very start. Even when we first got drafted, he said to all of us just to believe in ourselves and back ourselves. I think that's the main thing, and it gives us the confidence to go out there every single week and know that we can play with that natural flair, and he'll back us no matter what.
Rosie and Butters are in the same boat, and Port's early season form is largely due to a game plan that focuses on leg speed and quick delivery.
All three of us are quite young, fast, we're good skills, etc., and we're very good, with in terms of up and down the ground and great midfield capabilities. So Ken wanted to make sure that he maximised that, I think, and given us just the licence to do that.
Port will fly to the Gold Coast on Friday. Andrew Hayes, 7 News.
Going around the grounds now, and star eagle Jeremy McGovern's 1-week striking ban will stand after the tribunal dismissed his challenge. Tiger Tom Lynch has shot down concerns he'll miss Thursday night's blockbuster against the Hawks with an ankle injury, while Hawthorn is expected to get Jaeger O'Meara back after recovering from a fractured eye socket. Well, with a passionate call to arms, Ricky Ponting has urged everyone in Australian cricket to draw a line in the sand and unite. CEO Kevin Roberts quit today. He'd lost support of the players, the staff and finally the Cricket Australia board.
From the grassroots to our greats, everyone's wondering how it came to this.
There's so many good things, I think, for Australian cricket to look forward to as this summer rolls on.
But the CEO's gone after just 20 months in the job.
Cricket in Australia was on the nose around the world. I think he's done a great job leading us through that, but now it's time for some new leadership.
Kevin Roberts battled the players in a bitter 2017 pay dispute. He was never truly trusted. After Sandpaper Gate, cricket was recovering. Then COVID-19 hit in the off-season.
We could have done our communication better, and we take responsibility for that in challenging times.
Staff were stood down, financial forecasts were mysterious, the states revolted, then the players, the board acted last night.
Hopefully Cricket Australia and everyone involved in cricket in Australia can get together and reset and move forward in a nice positive way.
With October's T20 World Cup set for a likely year's delay, tournament boss Nick Hockley steps in. From the London Olympics to World Cups, the Englishman's an expert in commercial negotiation.
It is without doubt one of the great jobs in Australian sport.
We can all work together and on the same page to ensure when the summer starts that we're in as good a shape as we possibly can be.
India has agreed to come. Confidence is growing. A full summer will happen with crowds. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
And the SA Jockey Club is preparing to welcome patrons back to the track at Morfordville. Only essential workers have been allowed in on race days during the COVID-19 lockdown, but that's scheduled to change in a month's time. Industry stakeholders and members will be allowed back in from Saturday, July 18. Numbers will initially be capped at 75 and will gradually be increased, which is good news if you like to get out to the track, Jane.
It is, and we've got the Spring Racing Carnival looming, especially over in Victoria. Wonder if Daryl will get to sing at the Cox Plate.
Well, I always have him at the Cox Plate, Daryl Braithwaite. That'd be a little superannuation fund doing that one every year, but no crowd, no horses, but hopefully there'll be people back by then.
Maybe we will. Let's hope so. Thanks, Soda. To your money, and there was a strong rebound, as we heard earlier, on the Australian share market today. The ASX 200 closed nearly 4% higher. Among the market movers, Webjet was 42 cents stronger. CommBank added $2.79 and Afterpay leapt up $5.36. The Aussie dollar's trading at 69 US cents and 54 pence. Stay with us after the break. Details on the new mobile plan promising fee-free bills. So what's the catch?
And we've got a little bit of sunshine on the way this week before showers roll in just in time for the weekend. All the details in the forecast coming up next.
At Weeks, we've been building the Australian dream for over 30 years. Building homes that help families make memories that will last a lifetime. Talk to us today and we promise you'll get more with Weeks.
Make your home a sanctuary with up to 70% off distinctive luxury homewares in Canning Vale's end of financial year sale. Shop online with code EOFY for free shipping and a 100-day home trial. Only while stocks last at canningvale.com.
Need a quick and easy low-rate car loan? With no monthly fees and an amazing low rate, a variable car loan from Police Credit Union has never been better. Plus, apply by 10 a.m. and you could get your money the same business day. Visit Police Credit Union for a low-rate car loan.
Craving adventure? Portuguese-style chicken, flame grilled, 100% flavor, 100% Australian chicken, made fresh every day. Adventure awaits.
How's that for serenity?
Can care be better at home?
Oh, it's sanctuary. Your home's a bit of a sanctuary. Yeah, for me, rehab at home, it gave me a huge amount of flexibility to be able to do the things I wanted to do. It allowed me to unstress and be in the moment in your house in your own comfort zone, which was really good for me and my state of mind.
Search Medibank at Home to see how we're creating better choices for our members.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
On behalf of frontline workers, we'd like to thank South Australians for your support. It's not why we do it, but it's nice to be appreciated. And we'd like to ask something of you.
Next time politicians tell us to make the public sector more efficient by cutting budgets and staff or privatising services,
Please stand with us when we say no.
We never know what will happen in the future.
So, it's important our public sector is strong and never under-resourced.
Authorised SA Unions, Adelaide.
Escape to a better home loan. With great rates like this and home loan specialists you can trust, People's Choice can help set you free. Call 13 11 82, visit us in branch or online.
The streets are calling. Make sure you're ready to answer. The BMW 118i from 49,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
Sweetheart, don't cry. I'll rub my eyes on you.
Felt like he gave up on us.
I don't know if the marriage can be saved.
How do you mend a broken family?
Sweetheart, don't cry. I'll rub my eyes all night. If you should need me.
Tell me that you don't love me and I'll walk away.
If you should need me.
Home and Away, weeknights on 7.
This weather report brought to you by the BMW 3 Series.
Get breaking news for Adelaide and South Australia on our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. For news as it happens, join 7 News Adelaide on social media.
A new mobile phone service provider is set to shake up the market by offering a plan that costs nothing. It's the first of its kind in Australia, but experts say it could catch people out.
From paying bills to keeping in touch, even watching TV shows, mobile phones have become an essential part of life.
Our mobile phone is kind of the remote control of our lives.
Now there's a new free plan on the market from Zero Mobile.
We give you the initial access for free on an ongoing basis, and then you can add on what you need.
On the Zero plan, users will get 1 gigabyte of data, free incoming calls and SMS, free voicemail and free calls to 1800 and 1300 numbers. But there's a catch. Outgoing calls and SMSs are pay as you go, which can be costly. And experts say the 1 gig of data won't stretch very far.
A lot of us are making video calls, keeping in touch on the move. All of those things use up a lot of data, so 1 gigabyte would run out really quickly.
Zero customers will also be bombarded with advertisements. For those looking for cheap alternatives without the ads, there are prepaid plans. With Optus, you get 5 gigs of data for $10 and 100 minutes of calls. Telstra also has a $10 plan for 1 gig of data. Slightly cheaper still, Vodafone is offering 45 gigs, but only for a short time. With more people out and about, mobile phone data usage is almost back to pre-COVID-19 levels. But no matter which plan you choose, free or prepaid, you'll still need to buy a smartphone handset.
It really doesn't take a lot of money for you to have a phone and a plan to get yourself started.
Samantha Brett, 7 News.
Let's have a closer look at the weather now. And Amelia, we've got a break from the wet weather coming up.
Jane, we're in line for a couple of days of mostly sunny skies, but make the most of it. We've got more wet weather on the way this week. Hopefully, we'll see another morning like this. Sunrise over the Onkaparinga, thanks to Barbara Martin for that snap. Right now in the city, it's 12 degrees, and that's cooler than last night's low of 12.5 and not far from our top of 16.4 either. We've had almost 4 millimetres in the West Terrace gauge, with showers persisting across the south today. Parra had the most, recording 14. Now, all that cloud cover led to warmer than average temperatures across the south, but it was a frosty start about the pastoral districts, with clearer skies featuring there. That's something we'll all begin to see soon, a bit of sunshine, as this high pressure system heads southeast. A trough and front will disrupt the stable weather, though, by the end of the week. They'll hit Perth first, triggering showers, maybe a storm there tomorrow. Back home, and clear skies could lead to early frost again in our northern districts, but further south, and lingering moisture from days of showers will likely lead to fog. There is still the slight chance of a sprinkle near our southern coast and about the upper southeast as well. 15 degrees is the forecast top for Mount Gambier, 18 for Renmark and Fukadina, 16 for Clare and Nuriutpa, 21 for Port Augusta and Ceduna, which could both see a foggy start. But as we've heard, there is particular concern. Fog and low cloud could reduce visibility on the roads tonight and possibly across the suburbs in the morning. In the city, and clearing skies will lead to a cooler night, down to 8 degrees, then a warm, mostly sunny days in store. 18's the top. On metro waters, and we've got nor'easterly winds below 10 knots during the day, with seas below half a metre. Taking a look ahead, and Thursday is looking even better. 19 sunny, then things go downhill Friday with that front, with showers due from afternoon. Now that'll send us down to 14 degrees Saturday, with up to 15 millimetres tipped then. Jane.
That will be most welcome in my gauge. Thanks, Amelia. That's all the news to now. I'll have updates through the evening. We have the latest this evening at 11 o'clock. But for now, from all the team here at 7 News, good night.